We are approaching a day in American political history that is likely to be, well, not something we'll ever be proud of. If you're listening to me, you're very lucky. You're about to find out why, in spite of all the satire and the post-apocalyptic stories and the pleading and begging for people to come together and treat each other with kindness, why everything has wound up the way it is. I'm going to tell you why politicians are emotionally invincible and how that relates to the infinite unkindness people show each other, in spite of all their attempts at doing otherwise. I'm wrapping a chain around the indignity you despise. Only something as big as the end of sheer unkindness could possibly be big enough to diffuse the shameful acts that are about to take place within this country and cause disgust around the world. It is unlikely that I will change the world before this horrific day, but I would hope that someone sees this somewhere and says, "Oh, that's where humanity made its big mistakes." Are you ready to learn how politics has become what it's become? Get ready to stop giving the slightest fuck about political cartoons for the rest of your life. Get ready to cry for the futility of satire. Get ready to find hope for a better future. I'm changing the world, right here, right now. Listen to me. The reason why people love Orange Man and hate Orange Man is entirely based on his ability to distance himself from his actions whenever the time calls for it. No matter what he does, or, insert your politician if you really object to anyone criticizing Orange Man, he always knows how to feel his own flaws, agree a little with his opponents, sense the good reasons why he's hated, and remember so fondly, I'm still me. It's the technique people use to project themselves as attractive when trying to find a mate, isn't it? Loving yourself no matter what you're doing. Whether it's a confident, kind person or a raging politician, you can't unwrap the individual by tearing down their actions or what they're planning to do. And so they march onward, undaunted by all criticism. It's no wonder the Orange Man was a thing that happened. He is simply an extension, an expansion of the type of being human we give ourselves and others positive feedback for. Distancing yourself from your misdeeds and remembering that you're still you. What makes Orange Man so horrifically strong, even if he may support some pretty screwed up stuff, is that he has the type of positive energy that we use to uplift ourselves and others. He is unhinged and dangerous in his capacity for self-advancement. No amount of satire and accusations of evil is ever going to work against him. He could get voted out, and still, people would look at him as either only heroic or malicious, and the tale of human mediocrity would march forward, forever dreading and hoping for people like Trump to take power, never learning how to actually prevent that kind of thing from happening. Here's the other thing about the Orange Man, and of course about politicians in general. You can criticize their personalities, mock their dreams, demean their aspirations, take a huge dump on everything about who they are, and they will still feel, I have the power to do a lot of good. We're often taught that people become corrupted by the lust for power. I think politicians, leaders, rulers, bosses everywhere become corrupted by the notion that there is always a chance for them to make the world a better place, for them to please so many people under them, for them to reach great heights in purposeful dignity, for them to become the type of powerful and loved kind of person they wished they'd be when they were so much younger. No matter how they change, no matter their intentions, no matter their demeanor, this politician still sees, by virtue of their position, plenty of opportunity to defy the ability to deserve such hatred from the vast population. Do you get it now? Dictators don't feel evil. because they're always a few, or maybe many game moves away from earnestly defying any guilt that they might have. Even if their reign crumbles, they feel connected to that possibility of generic and uncontested political adoration. The Orange Man feels no shame because he really would prefer that everybody likes him, or at the very least, that far from evil feeling part of him still shines. As long as the possibility of being seen as a hero to many, much more than before, exists, a politician will anesthetize his or her profound anguish about his failures with the cries of love from even just a few million followers. Always dreaming of becoming the generically and profoundly respectable person they think they were destined to become before ever making enemies out of anyone. The Orange Man could very well be one of the worst things to happen to this country, but it's not being rotten to the core that makes him dangerous. It's that ability for a person to never feel defiled by their own mistakes. It's the power to sense your own cruelty and be comforted by what inside of you does resemble human kindness. Donald Trump is humanity. He's got the bigliest humanity out of all of us. And that is what makes him so disgustingly strong. That is what makes him something like invincible. Wouldn't it be nice if we could live in a world where no one loves that kind of person and can stop them without failing to slice through them? Oh, what a lovely dream. I think he'll probably lose the election, and his attempts at doing extremely illegal things for his own gain won't end well for him either. But I don't want things to just move on as they used to. No matter how much joy you take in his likely humiliation, because inside of the Orange Man is something we congratulate ourselves for, and it keeps us from being as kind to each other as we wish. Just boil it down to spouses struggling to get along, an arguing couple trapped inside the misery of marriage. Why are both parties so damn invincible? Why does neither ever really win an argument? Why does the painful treatment of each other just go on and on, maybe to be tolerated, maybe to result in violence or divorce? Why do husband and wife always get sickened by each other? It's this, my friend. You can never unwrap the deeds from the person, leaving only someone to condemn. You can never graft all effects onto that person, leaving only a resume of evil. You can call them out on what they did, but they'll feel, hey, I'm still me, so I'm not going to let you criticize me. You can try and tell your family member they're unkindly, filled with poor intentions, and they'll feel, why are you so mad? I can always just do the right thing. This is my theory about our political world. The only reason people ever started loving the Orange Man, and the reason why people tried to insult him in the manner that they did, and only ended up making him much more popular, is that our politics is simply a microcosm of a two-person human relationship. One person can feel all of their mistakes and remember that they still dream of kindness in some fashion, and then do so much damage. Someone can genuinely feel remorse for broken promises, but they will get aroused at knowing they still have the strength to become the person that they wished, and cause great pain along the way. The things that make you cosmically despise the Orange Man, and that which causes someone to be socially infatuated with the Orange Man, come from being able to see what makes someone powerful, borderline invincible. To find a way to let criticism bounce off of you, despite feeling how heartfelt the anger of other people is. To find a way to feel like a hero, capable of fulfilling dreams, no matter how many people you've hurt. That is what politicians are. That is what people are to each other. Donald Trump, or if you prefer, the politicians you despise, has not become what he is only because of his choices, nor because of the people who support him, or because of what Democrats did, or because of anger towards radical social justice proponents, or the economy, or foreign countries, or the stars in the fucking sky. The Orange Man became president because we did not, as a species, find a way to separate strength from malice. Because kindness has always been the thing most susceptible to being tainted. There's always the invincible dream of being a good person swimming around inside the hearts of sentient beings. And if you can't see that, you'll only go so far in preventing people from turning to superheroes like the Orange Man, from acquiring massive amounts of power. Donald Trump is only doing what we do to try and make other people respect us. And that's the shame I want you to live with, enablers of the Orange Man, and those who fail to slice apart what made him so endearing. You all fail to see that Donald Trump represents everything you love and hate about other people. He exploits the friction of purpose and result. He detaches himself from what he's done so boldly, and congratulates himself for things he might not have done so cheerfully. And that's pretty much the only thing that stimulates our political fury or affection. The power to exploit the connectedness and disconnectedness of things in order for a humble chance to weave something in the future. The hypocrisy which shines with uncanny justification. The selfish desperation charged with trust for all your allies. How could we have prevented this? How could you have prevented an Orange Man crisis? By not experiencing any profound emotion when observing someone behave the way Orange Man does, has, and will. All Trump has ever done is show the ability to coat himself in an unpierceable rainbow of deep, deep self-worth. And that is the most volatile force any human can exude. It is at the center of why people cannot stand each other. We'll always find a way to keep others from trying to pin malice onto us, even as we feel their needles hit us. We'll always lift ourselves up, even when we can see how fucked up we are. The problem with politicians is that they feel like heroes in the truest sense. The problem with married couples is that neither spouse feels they possess no dignity whatsoever. People feel connected to all that's kind and just within the universe. So you may have a very hard time splitting apart what you see as their evil. You'll go on the internet, make 10,000 comments over the course of a year, and a stone of someone else's unkindness will fail to shatter. But that's what I want to change. My dream is to finally cut the boulder of indignity, because dignity itself is what holds its molecules in place. Now do you see what makes Trump's will so hard to slice? I hope that I have vented just a little of what makes you admire or despise the Orange Man, and reshaped your understanding of human beings, not for the sake of politics, but mainly because I want people to stop being so extravagantly unkind to each other. Now, slashed through much unkindness, locked within my dreams, nothing short of flipping the world upside down can save us. I present to you the missing emotion. The passion for weaving something out of the disconnection and connection of things. Meet me on my website. We shall belittle politics for the sake of a kinder world.